Welcome, viewing several once again. This is episode 30, I think 37 of my train set series, which is Hands Up, Who Loves a Train Set? Obviously I do, because some of the things I've bought, I think you've got to love a train set to buy some of these. Now, this set, let's talk about Hornby and their Coca-Cola sets. I sort of never really understood these, but if I see something that's at a price I like, I buy it, see what it's like. I can always sell it on, I might keep it, I don't know. I thought I'd get one in my collection. I thought I could run this outside. I had plans to build a kind of temporary track bed on my lawn, and because I run a lot of my scale electric out in when the grass has been cut on the grass, so I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. You can see here it says for adult collectors. Now I don't really know what that means, but I obviously am legally an adult, or probably a bit immature to be considered an adult, and I'm a collector of train sets, so maybe I should have one. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense in you know, prototypical terms or anything else. But you know, if you're a train set person, you don't always care about that kind of thing, and you just like running a train round a track. Now the interesting thing about this is it's got this, the D class, which I've had some bad experiences with some of the older ones from the 90s. They've been very, very poor runners. But this one surprised me. It's actually very nice. It runs very well. So this set in itself is, I didn't pay that much for it. A lot of these type of sets that I buy, I get them and they've obviously been bought by someone as a present or on a whim, and then they've used it once or they've looked at it and they've just thought, I think the seller said, we just decided we just wasn't for us, which is fair enough. So when it comes down to a certain price, then it is for me, so I bought it. So let's have a look if we've got anything else of worth looking at on the back of it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you can see it tells you the other Coca-Cola things that you can get. There's been loads of them. So this is the entry from the 2024 catalogue. Now before this they had a Christmas one which had the Bagnall shunter, and then they also had, I think they've got, there's been other ones, as you can see. You can get these, you can get a class 121 bubble car. At one time I saw these really cheap and I nearly bought one and repainted it, but I didn't, and I got one in BR blue anyway in the end. But this wagon, these wagons are quite old. These are the old, you know, 70s. I had one like this when in the, you know, early 70s. Very basic stuff. But yeah, I mean, last year to run this set out, or at least what I thought, they just reboxed it and called it the Holidays Are Coming set, and it was exactly the same, but it had a kind of Christmassy background, and that was the only difference. So yeah, they were selling them off, and I think that they've still got some, but I just got this because I just look at things if there's sets with no bids on them or whatever, and I think, well, I'll get that. Review it, add it to my collection, or maybe sell it on, whatever. So this is that. So there we go. Now I think we'll have a look inside, shall we? Right, here we are. This is inside the box. You can see here loads of instructions. under the pulp tray. So if you lift the pulp tray, which we call the egg box, you can see there's some instructions there. Yeah, I mean it gives you some servicing instructions. There's not much you could do with these kind of locomotives to service them. It's not like the old days where you could pull everything to bits and put it back together again. So for me, this is a different kind of fun. It's just fun to set up and play with. I think the thing I enjoy most is getting a set that's absolutely had it from the 60s or the 50s, getting it running again. So you don't get that with this, but what you do get is it does run. So here we have the D-Class. Now, like I say, I've had some terrible experiences with these, with my ones that I've got from the 90s, but I have to say this one is, because it's new, it's actually quite good. This one's made in China. I think I don't know whether the ones I've got, the other ones, they could have been made in Margate, but I don't think so. But yeah, it's in the Coca-Cola livery. It's actually got some of the handrails have been picked out and in a different colour. So it looks, I mean, it looks nice. It looks nice. Then you got this wagon, which is the old tanker. It's the tooling, I think, that I had. I had one in the 1970s that was an SO one, almost the same colour. It's very basic, got the seam on it and everything, and yeah, that old moulded plastic. I mean, if you're not too bothered, it is kind of toy-like, but you know, I like train sets, so it doesn't really bother me. If I want scale models, I'm prepared to pay more for them, and so you get this very lightweight, very cheap plastic container wagon. There's not really much to it, and then you get these, and I think they've got opening doors on them. So these wagons, these containers, they would have some play value, but you know, this is not for kids. They've said no, kids can't have it. It's for adult collectors. So it's a kind of an odd one because I'm an adult and a collector, but I'm not really, you know, I was curious, so I thought I'd buy one if I saw one at a discount price second hand, to see what it was all about. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's show you it running, because it actually runs. Because this set, it's almost brand new. I mean, it was only probably made last year, so it's very new. So I'll put that back properly in a minute. We'll get it on the track, and you can see it runs all right actually. Right, we're on the track with this set. So this is the Coca-Cola Summertime Set. Now, I've actually, because I'm in this room today, I set up for the last episode the Javelin set, which came with a lot more straights and a siding. This is the track from that set because I thought I would use it while it was set up, so I could film this and do another episode. Partly because, I mean, this might go round first radius. It's this bogey wagon that's probably the problem, but I thought, well, you know, it's nice to run it with the track that it comes with, or at least the setup it comes with. So with this particular set, there's no track mat, there's no siding, it's just two short straights. So this is what you get. This is the basic third radius, I could say it right, third radius starter loop. I must say, for me it's not much fun because I've got to sit on the floor, and I prefer a first radius loop that I could use on my desk. And to be honest, the extra distance and stuff, I don't, you know, I actually prefer the more compact layout. But, you know, we'll give it a go and we'll see what it's like. Now, these sets, well, I'll talk about the rest of the to do with the set in the when I film the other parts. So this is really just to run it. So I'm on the Styropramen today, so just the little cans really. So you can welcome to pour yourself a beer and join me as I just show you this. Reason I struggled a bit is because I'm on the hard floor. So now I am using the controller that came with this set, which is the later one than the one that came in the other set. It's a little bit heavier. It's just as annoying to use because it's very plasticky and the knob's got no real positive feedback. But since I thought I'm in here, I thought, well, you know, I'll bring the actual train sets in and use the bits from them. Normally I would use my Gauge Master, but anyway, this should run well enough to pick up the train. There we go. We'll just set off. So this is the Class D Industrial 040. Now I reviewed a couple of these recently in a 90s set and it was a really poor performer, but I must say this one is considerably better. It's much newer, it doesn't want to go as fast. I think that that container wagon is a bit nasty, and the Diet Coke wagon, I think I had one very similar, even the same colour that said Esso on it, in a set that I had in 1974. It's a very old tooling, that. But this actually runs quite nicely, I think. So I'm going to turn her up, and you'll notice that is full speed. Now this controller has got the switch on it to switch it down, so if you've got a little kid, you can switch it to that and it's slightly slower, and that's slightly faster. Doesn't seem to be a lot in it really. Not quite sure why that is, but that is full speed. But to me, that's a much nicer full speed than some of the ones we've seen in my series where it goes flying off the corner. So we'll have a go at some. There doesn't seem to be a lot of variation, but we'll see how slow we can go. Now this set is the Summertime set. I bought mine, it was second hand, but I think it hadn't been used. And they were selling these off cheap, and then I think they repackaged them as the Holidays Are Coming set. But I think this one's quite a bit newer. This is only probably made last year or so it does run a lot better than the Javelin set, which I think might need a bit more work on it, because that one's 15 or so years old, whereas this one I think is probably from last year. I will just run it backwards to see what it will do, if it will do it. I thought about leaving the sidings in and trying some shunting, but to be honest I thought I'd show it with the loop that it comes with. Yeah, let's just have a couple more loops at a fair speed, and then we'll get some close-ups and we'll wrap this one up. So I'm going to take that back about Hornby's worst 040. I'm going to put this one in third position. So we've got Cali Pug, Holden, this one because this is a good example. And then that other one, which is the X Thomas Clockwork 040 body. And those are all the ones I've seen. I mean, they run all right. They're heavier than these, but they go so fast. There's almost no way to control them, even at the bottom end of the controller. But this is actually running pretty nice. So now it's kind of run in. We can get a reasonable crawl. See, about that. It's probably about as slow as you can get. I mean, I could turn the that current limiter. What does that do? Yeah, just moves the point where it picks up. Switch it back to high speed. You can see there is a difference. It's really for kiddies, that, and I think this set is aimed at adult collectors, whatever that is. So anyway, this isn't too bad. I quite enjoyed playing with this one, but I am going to get up off the floor. I'm gonna do some shots now. Right, final thoughts then. What has always puzzled me about this is who pays whom. Do Hornby pay Coca-Cola to license their logo, or is it the other way round? Are Coca-Cola paying Hornby to advertise their horrible brown drink? I don't know. It could work both ways. I think John Finnemore did a sketch on his radio series about that, where they couldn't work out who was supposed to pay whom over the Happy Meal endorsements. So I don't know how this works, and whatever happened, there was obviously a license that must have run out, because they churned out a lot of these sets in different flavours, and it's stopped this year. And any that you can buy now are basically remained as a stock. You know, they're not doing it anymore. So overall, I'd say it's actually an all-right starter set. It runs okay, as I've shown, and yeah, I don't really know who is Coca-Cola being paid, or is it the other way around? I really don't know. And if Hornby are paying Coca-Cola, how well did it work? You know, did they sell a lot of sets based on it, or I don't really know. I think Coca-Cola sets are quite popular, because Hornby are not the only maker to have Coca-Cola sets. There are other manufacturers that have Coca-Cola license stuff, so it makes sense that Hornby are paying Coca-Cola. But I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's an alright set, and yeah, I quite enjoyed playing with it, except the fact I was sat on the floor. But other than that, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I'll see you in the next one.